Tucker Carlson has fully gone QAnon. Not that he had not already done that. He's kind of a QAnon conspiracist himself, or conspiracy theorist, I should say. But he's leaning even further into it with this moment, talking about abortion and saying that the Democrats run a child sacrifice cult. The largest rated show on cable television as far as news goes. Very sad.
Next, they'll be trying to control what you read on social media. Oh, wait. It's all pretty amusing. And the good news is that for once, lines this preposterous are not working. Abortion politics is a total fixation of Democratic donors. It's the main thing they care about. Why is that, by the way? It's a religion. It's a child sacrifice cult. But not everyone else feels that way, even Democrats. Is the Daily Caller
a child sacrifice cult? A child sacrifice cult. One of the things I've talked about before is if you want to have a discussion about abortion policy, abortion rights, etc., you have to come in, whether you're coming from a pro-life stance or a pro-choice stance, with an understanding that this issue, different than most, is so dependent on a early on belief in your logical process. Meaning, if you believe over here that right at conception it becomes a life worthy of individual rights, then once we get all the way over here in our political discussion, you're not going to be able to be budged because you already had this belief. Or if you're over here and you believe, as I do, that the being that's producing the other being should have the right, if they could, to decide if they're going to continue doing that, then once we get all the way over here in our political discussion, I'm not going to be able to be budged because I already believe this. But what people do is they just meet here and then scream at each other and don't recognize where the original disagreement is. That's a pretty significant one. And you can do all the screaming in the world and no one's ever going to change their opinion if you don't recognize that. And so one of the things I try to do is get into the weeds about trying to articulate why it's so important that when one living being is the biological being producing another, that as long as the other needs that being biologically to continue being produced, then the one doing the producing should be, have the decision of if they continue in that manufacturing process or not. But I do my best to explain why that is, because that's the only place I'm going to get movement. Otherwise, if we're over here, talking about you just hate women and the other person saying you're a baby killer, then really, is either person going to change their opinion? Probably not. So what Tucker Carlson is doing there is, first of all, ignoring the whole conversation and just jumping right to, well, clearly the reason that they want to have legal abortions is because they want to sacrifice babies. Cool. So you genuinely don't understand he does, but let's just pretend he's being good faith. Don't understand the stance of pro-choice people. Now, recognizing that he's bad faith, he's just trying to tap into the rather large population in our country, unfortunately, that does believe in some cabal of the Democratic Party that's sacrificing children. Now, they have different levels of what they believe. The furthest one is that like Hillary Clinton and all these Democrats drink the blood of children to stay youthful or something, which cracks me up. Not to be mean, but a lot of the people they list don't exactly look particularly youthful. But it's incredible. And so he's saying, all right, I know a lot of my viewership probably believes conspiracy theories like this or adjacent to it. So I'm going to use language that's just the biggest dog whistle or dog trumpet, bullhorn to those people by saying, no, the fact that people advocate on behalf of abortion rights is not because they have a different core belief about this issue than you. It's because they just like sacrificing babies for the fun of it. It's truly incredible. And what it does is justify some horrible actions. What would you feel justified in doing if you thought your neighbor next door was pro-child sacrifice? Probably some scary things. And that's what really hits me deeply and scares me a lot about all of this. So Tucker Carlson doing what he does, being a massive conspiracy theorist and a very dangerous propagandist.